2 minutes ago as Warren Johnson accepted the congratulations of the crowd here in Southern California on already winning the Winston Pro Stock season-long championship this year. He has already picked up 7 victories, including the race you saw right here on NBC earlier this year, the U.S. Nationals in Indianapolis. And now Warren Johnson ready for his Pro Stock semifinal going up against Bob Glidden.
This will have even this rather blasé Southern California crowd on their feet, Joel Meyer. Bob Glidden and Warren Johnson in many ways today are Pro Stock. Glidden, the 10-time champion, over on the far side of the racetrack in his Ford Pro. In the Oldsmobile Cutlass opposite him will be, as you said, Warren Johnson. And you talk about close. They come into this run 0.05 of a second apart. In qualifying, Bob Glidden, Whiteland, Indiana, a 7.183. Warren Johnson of Duluth, Georgia, a 7.183. Glidden was credited as the quicker qualifier because he had a better speed, 193 miles an hour, and speed always is the tiebreaker. So Warren Johnson, already the Winston champion. He'd like to go home with this event another $25,000. The crowd would like to see Bob Glidden. I think he's only won a couple of races this year, and that's an off season for him. It is Johnson away first. Johnson has the edge. Johnson wins it. Oh, even though Bob Glidden goes quicker. Glidden 7.16, Johnson 7.18. Off the starting line, Johnson was in Glidden's face, never looked back, never even saw him.
So the final is set in the Pro Stock division. A couple of veterans, 49-year-old Warren Johnson taking on 50-year-old Jerry Ekman. Back in the pit area, Al Hoffman working on his own car. That engine getting ready for his semifinal pairing with Chuck Etchels in the funny car division. Al Hoffman coming off an outstanding season. He is third in the overall point standings. And they're getting ready in the staging lanes right now for the Top Fuel semifinals. Ed McCullough's car rolling to the staging lanes. He will face Eddie Hill in that Final Four matchup. Right now, though, it's Corey Mack and Danielle DePorter.
Corey McClenathan, a fresh motor in that car, and problems with the DePorter car. That is the starter you see attached to the top pulley on the supercharger. It appears they cannot make that engine turn over. You see the little bottle there? That's full of gasoline. That primes the engine. They're trying to keep Danielle appraised of what the problem is. Corey McClenathan, the new engine in his car, sounding good. There is Paul Smith that owns the Danielle DePorter car. Once these engines kind of fail to fire, they can tend to get a lot of fuel in the cylinders. It can be dangerous to try to refire them. They can hydraulic. Oh, she's all done. The car is moving backwards out of the staging area. It will be a single run for Corey Mack. But his enemy is the clock. He has got to at least run a time good enough for a national record backup, or Amato will be the champ. He doesn't do it. A 4.93 will not be a record or serve as a backup for a record later on. Joe Amato is officially now the champion. Don Garlitz?
Paul, I know this is very disappointing. Do you have any idea what might have happened when you went to start the engine?
Yeah, in the pits, our starter broke, and we borrowed a starter. The drive deal didn't fit real good, and we tried to spin it to clean it and couldn't spin it enough without it jumping off. And then we tried to crank it again, and it tried to backfire. But she'll be back next year.
Great.
Thank you.
Disappointment for Paul Smith, crew chief, and the young lady you're looking at right now, Danielle DePorter. But don't forget, she won $10,000 for finishing in the top 10 of the season-long point standings. Also won another 10 for Rookie of the Year. Let's head down and join Steve with Corey Mack.
Well, that 4.93 tells us a couple of things. One, Corey Mack will not be the Winston champ. Joe Amato will be, but still you've got a final round to win.
Yeah, it's hard to be happy going to the final when we were really going for it that time. I'll tell you, Jimmy Prock, MacTech Racing, Quaker State, Mickey's Mag Polish. I mean, I'm telling you, these people have helped us all through the year. Without a sponsor, we're in the final. We're going to try to be number 2 in the world. I'll tell you, for an independent racer, that's not too shabby.
Absolutely not. He could pass Bernstein in the points. May have already. But some bad news. He has hurt another engine.
Now we are ready for our other semifinals of the Top Fuels. The 56-year-old Wichita Falls, Texas, Eddie Hill in the yellow car, the far lane, going up against Ed McCullough.
The biggest occupational hazard driving a Top Fuel car, besides crashing, obviously, is a bad back. They leave the starting line at 5.5 Gs. That's astronaut stuff. Once that levels out, they hit a negative G of 4.5 with a parachute. And you'll notice that all of these drivers, even the older guys, are lean and fit. They've got to be. Ed McCullough in the near line, who has his own personal trainer. That's how important fitness is to him. Eddie Hill trying to back up the all-time world record of 477. He needs a 4.82 to do it. Eddie Hill will go to the final round with another shot to set the record, because he didn't do it that time. 4.88 at 2.88. He sends McCullough home with a 5.01 at 2.94. Don Garlits is back at the starting line with the Top Fuel crew chief of the year, Fuzzy Carter.
Well, Fuzzy ain't backed up that record yet, but you're in the final, and that's for the money.
Yeah, the air's going to get a little cooler, and we ought to be able to really step on it this time. We've just been conservative all day with it. My guys been working hard, and we just been trying to keep her running. Thanks.
Relief for Fuzzy Carter. And the final is set now for the Top Fuel division. Corey Mack from Anaheim, California. The 29-year-old Corey McClenathan taking on the veteran from Wichita Falls, Texas, Eddie Hill. And Eddie will have the lane choice as we'll return to Pomona, California. Welcome back once again as we continue from the Winston Finals in Pomona, California. Joel Myers along with Steve Evans and Big Daddy Don Garlits. And we're down to the final four of the funny cars. It's Freddie Neely taking on Cruz Pedregon.
And there is Larry Miner that owns the Cruz Pedregon car and the Ed McCullough car. But they're in tough. They've lost lane choice to the #1 qualifier, Freddie Neely. He's not reading their press clippings right now. Freddie Neely wants to win his first ever NHRA national event. And this Dick Brown Motorsports machine, the car is absolutely flying. Freddie really has more hardcore driving experience than Cruz Pedregon. Not taking anything away from Cruz. He's the champ. This could be very, very interesting. That tough young guy from Atlanta. Oh, and Pedregon. Too much power too soon. Freddie Neely breaks something just before the finish line on his winning effort, and that slows the car dramatically to a 5.36 at 222 miles an hour. Pedregon's crew chief Larry Meyer is with Don.
Well, Larry, you have any idea what might have happened?
Yeah, we blistered our tires real bad on the run before. We had to put a brand new set on. We was worried about it. The way it goes.
You're the Winston champion, ain't you?
That's all that counts, right? Thanks.
Disappointment today, but as mentioned, an outstanding year for Pedregon and his entire crew. We'll look back now at the problems for Freddie Neely. There you see it looked like the supercharger backfired halfway through the race. Let's find out with Steve at the far end.
You've got a hurt piece here.
Yeah, but we got some stuff back in the trailer. We'll get it fixed. We'll be back, Steve.
Okay, right now they can't even get the body up on this car because apparently the blower let go and has broken the latch in the body. So there's a lot of work to be done on this car.
Plenty of work and getting ready for the finals just a few minutes away. We go with the other semifinal now in the funny car division. The veterans we were talking about earlier, Chuck Etchels and Al Hoffman.
Now, Al Hoffman has been running the same engine all weekend. Not so Corey Mack. Here's a report from Don Garlits.
Steve, I'm in Corey Mack's pit, and the scene is exactly the same as it was the round before. They have exploded another engine. The team is working very hard. They have installed a new silver bullet in the car, preparing it for the finals. Winning this race is very important to this team. Even though they have no chance at winning the Winston Championship, they would sure like to win the Winston Finals. It would be such a boost for this team starting off the '93 season with this win under their belt.
Corey Mack is driving a single-shot rifle. Takes a new bullet every round, and that's expensive.
That's Helen Hoffman helping out her husband, Al. He is in the near lane, the far lane with lane choice, and he has taken that lane like everybody else that's had lane choice. It's Chuck Etchels.
But this late in the afternoon, I don't think there's any difference in the lanes. There's no edge to either driver or crew chief. This could be certainly the most equal, if not the best race of the day in the funny car category. You're on board with Al Hoffman. Oh, and look to the left. There's Etchels. And Etchels stays there to the finish line. Maynard Yates' crew chief says, yes, 5.16 at 280 miles an hour for Etchels. Hoffman leaves with a 5.22. Let's go to Don.
My word, 5.16, you could go into the Top Fuel.
Well, I was afraid that Tommy's car's been running real good. I felt we had to run a mid-teen in the semis here. The sun's going down, the track's better. It should be a hell of a final.
So the final is set now in the funny cars as well. It'll be Etchels going up against Freddie Neely. The backdrop, a spectacular one. The San Gabriel Mountains. Etchels will have the lane choice with the quicker ET. And the funny car champion, well, that has been determined already. Even though Cruz Pedregon is not in the final, he won the season-long championship and accepted the congratulations grandstand here in Pomona, California.